All right, I think it's time to talk about it. So you probably know by this point, if you are any kind of viewer of my channel, that I have been playing a lot of Deadlock because Deadlock has become my newest addiction, and I even made an entire video about why Deadlock is my dream PvP game. It's my absolute favorite PvP game I've ever played in my entire life, hands down, love it to death. But with new games comes a new wave of people trying to create content around that game. And with PvP games, you're going to have the stereotypes, the match replays that are nothing more but showing off the skill of the creator, the guide content, and the discussion channels. And most of you who know my content, the 6,400 of you who are here that know my content anyway, will know that I specialize in discussions over on this channel. If you want to view gameplay, like actual full-length gameplay, then I have another channel for that called the Kaiser Extras. Subscribe to it down, link in the description. I'm only 155 subscribers away from getting that channel monetized, so maybe you should, you know, just drop a sub over there just because you can. Anyway, the point is let's talk a little bit about an issue that I've been seeing with Deadlock content. Now, I'm not going to be showing examples of this issue because I don't want anybody's name out there. I don't want people to go out there and like start witch hunting and insulting these people, but it is still something that's been bothering the ever-living crap out of me, and so I definitely do want to talk about it. In order to talk about it, though, I have to give you guys a little bit of a history of ranked systems. Now, I'm not going to go full in and what the first ranked system is and how a whole bunch of different games handle it. I just want to let you guys know that a ranked system is something that is incredibly common in PvP games. It's something to show your competitive prowess. It's something that people use to try to showcase their skill level in the game. And I think on the surface, that's a completely perfectly fine thing to do. If you want to show how good you are at a game and you want a little symbol that shows how good you are at the game, I think that's perfectly okay. I've never really been that high rank in any video game that I've ever played, mostly because my mechanical skill has never really been up to snuff, although I have made it all the way to Diamond 1 inside of Hearthstone a few times. Never quite broke Legend, but that's also because that game doesn't require a lot of mechanical skill. It's a thinky game, and I'm better at the thinky stuff, which is why I've always been a coach over actual, like, professional competitive players. But the point is that I think rank systems are a perfectly fine thing, and I think that trying to achieve rank so that you can actively showcase how good you are at a game is also an entirely fine system. I personally believe that rank systems are good. However, whenever games lack rank systems, a bunch of people do try to go out of their way to showcase something else, and normally, oftentimes, this results in people talking about MMR. Now, I come from the Dead by Daylight community, which does not have a ranked system anymore. People do still try to use things like the grade system and saying like, oh, I'm an Eerie 1 killer, but the point is that nobody actually gives a crap if you're an Eerie 1 killer, because to get to Eerie 1 killer, you just have to play killer for the month and you will get there. Then people started trying to use things like prestiges. You know, I'm a P100 blah blah blah, I'm a P100 this, I'm a P500 this, whatever the case may be. And that's a little bit cooler of an indicator, but it still doesn't actually necessarily mean, because it just means that you play the game a lot. And as I've just established, playing games a lot does not necessarily mean you're good at the game. So what people have instead decided to do in the DBD community is talk about high MMR. Every single conversations around high MMR. Over in high MMR, you will find this. In high MMR, this perk doesn't work. In high MMR, this killer suffers. And it's all very pretentious, and I roll my eyes every time I read the phrase high MMR. But I never thought that the DBD community would ever be outdone in that regard until Deadlock came along. Now, Deadlock is still in its pre-alpha playtest phase. The game is literally at a point where it's not even ready to be released. They're still adding textures and UI to things. There's still a lot of bugs. There's still a lot of things that they are fixing in terms of the coding. The game gets like 4 or 5 updates a day just to try to keep up with all the stuff that they're trying to fix. So the game literally isn't even out yet. And everything around the game is about practicing and learning how to get better and things like that. And yet, there are already people posting about how they are quote-unquote high MMR. But it is not just high MMR. It is, and I'm sure you've seen this before, 0.001% top MMR. This is the most common way that they try to present these videos, and it is the cringiest thing I've ever read in my life. A lot of these creators that I'm seeing are actually old Overwatch creators that are doing this, and so they can't do things like post like top 500 or top 250 or things like that, because there's nothing to actually show where the players sit inside of the leaderboards. And so they have taken it upon themselves to start talking about how they're not just in the high MMR, they're not just in the top MMR, they're in the top 0.001% of MMR, and it is getting ridiculous. Like, at this point, I am starting to get so frustrated every time I want to just go and enjoy some Deadlock content and lock in and read it and you know, see what they have to offer and watch the video. Like, sometimes I'll see things like, oh, this build is really good, and I'll be like, oh, that's kind of cool, let me go check out what this build is. Maybe it'll teach me a little bit more about building, maybe it'll be a build that I want to use. But instead of just saying this build is really good, it's this build destroys in top 0.0000000000000000001% lobbies. You'll never believe. Like, dude, shut the fuck up, please. Nobody cares. Nobody actually cares. And I'm gonna tell you something right now. Just like in DBD, whenever someone's going on and on about high MMR, these people are not in the upper echelon of like the top like one player. You know what I mean? Like, it's one of those things where people feel the need to brag about their skills in ways that they think that they can just showcase to others without actively showcasing their skills. And I'm not going to say that any of these people are bad at the game or anything like that. They're certainly far better than me. They're very mechanically skilled. They obviously know a lot about MOBAs, and they know a lot about what they're supposed to be doing. And I think that that's perfectly fine. I think that's one of the best things to do. But I do believe that if you're trying to showcase your skills, you should let your skills speak for themselves, and your titles should be things like this build was really good, or I can't believe we won this game, or this is how a top player. You can say top player. I think top player is a fair thing. I just think that the absurdity of saying things like 0.001% player is just so freaking cringe, right? Like, it's just so cringe, and I don't click on any videos that have that title in them anymore because I'm so tired of it. But yeah, let me know what you think down below, and as always, a great big special thank you to my channel members listed on screen. Now, if you want to find out how to become a channel member today, get awesome perks like seeing videos early, merch discount codes, and more, then please click that join button down below. I love you guys so much, and I will see you in the next one. Need more Kaiser in your life? Well, I've got you covered. Check out my second channel, The Kaiser Extras, where I upload full gameplays, stream compilations, me reacting to your Dead by Daylight clips, and more. We also upload a daily short with all the greatest clips from stream. We'll see you over there. Link is in the description.